footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, breaking down the Lions versus the Vikings. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for the Minnesota Vikings to see what they can do to beat the Detroit Lions.
When you look at the Vikings offense, you have to talk about the big explosive plays. Now, I know this is a kickoff return right here, but that guy right there, Percy Harvin, has the tools to be one of the biggest playmakers that we've ever seen. So the Vikings have to come into this game and get him the football any way possible, whether it be on handoffs, short passes, allow him to be the playmaker that we know he is. And this guy is going to turn into points for that offense. Is going to help out Christian Ponder a lot, because we don't know right now if Adrian Peterson is going to be back or if Toby Gerhardt is going to continue to carry the load. He's done a solid job for the Vikings ground game, but imagine if they're able to get both guys back, and that's just going to bolster what the Vikings do on offense. And you look at what Christian Ponder is able to do. This guy, again, he puts a lot of pressure on the defensive side of the football because of his legs. He is a guy that can get to the edge and throw the football on a run. If he could just cut down on those turnovers, he could be a very solid quarterback for the Vikings. Now you look at the defensive side of the football. When you're playing Detroit, it's all about your safety play. Can your safety play stay over top those wide receivers when they attack the hashes? Can your safety play step up in the run game or step up and stop the passes over the middle or the flat passes? If they can do that, the Vikings defense can handle this Detroit Lions offense. They did a solid job for 3 quarters against the Lions in the first matchup. If they could put together 4 quarters, they could win this ball game.
Let's move over to Detroit to see what they can do to defeat the Minnesota Vikings at home.
When you look at this game and see where the Lions can attack the Vikings defense, you automatically go to your own football knowledge and say, okay, how can we attack the cover 2? You spread out the cover 2. What are the Lions good at? Spreading teams out. So that's where the individual matchups can be won. You look on the interior, I say both tight ends, Pettigrew and Scheffler, can have a big day versus this cover 2, because you're putting a lot of pressure on those safeties and those linebackers to effectively cover these guys on the intermediate routes, and that's going to allow Calvin Johnson to get to the outside and make big plays downfield. What I like to see the Lions do more is running the football. Quiet is kept. If Kevin Smith didn't get hurt in that ball game against New Orleans, the Saints couldn't stop that ground game, and Detroit could have really kept that game close and really won the game in New Orleans. So if Kevin Smith is back healthy, they have to maintain that ground game, get that balance going. You're going to see more big plays downfield. And even though we're showing Jabba Best here, but that can be another tailback getting in on a screen game. The Vikings are susceptible to the screen game because they are over aggressive defensive front. You look at the Lions defense and you instantly want to go to their defensive line, but let's start in the secondary. If they can effectively put the clamps on the Vikings passing game and play different games with Christian Ponder, they can come away with some interceptions. Ponder is a guy that throws to where he looks first. If they can pounce on that, they can have some opportunities to get interceptions, and the defensive line will be able to get pressure, because I have some questions about the Vikings pass protection, especially on the bookends.
Now let's take a look at some X factors in this ball game and see which player or players can have an effect on the outcome of this matchup.
X factors for the Vikings has to be the safety coverage. We talked about it earlier. If you can stop the big plays down the middle of the field, you can effectively take away Calvin Johnson. And the Lions X factor has to be, how are they going to defend Percy Harvin, who's one of the top playmakers in this league? I'm going with Detroit in this matchup. I trust Matt Stafford more so than I trust Christian Ponder, although if Peterson plays, this could be a different outcome.
For more NFL previews, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. And listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.